It's a beautiful morning here at Westbourne Villas in Hove, East Sussex, the former residence of the leader of the National Front and the British National Party, one John Tyndall, died in July 2005. I first met him at the Yorker in Nottingham in summer 1990, a great fiery orator, a real thundering speech he gave. Filled everyone with inspiration and hope. But I remember most of all, not the speech itself, its delivery, but the words that he used, particularly the dire threat he made about the virulent far left and the infiltration of all public services. And if we see what's happening here today now with the Starmerites, I guess you could say his prophecy, his prediction, has come true completely, hasn't it? So Tyndall himself was once prosecuted for incitement to racial hatred for warning about the dangers of mass immigration. I guess you could say that all of these prosecutions, in essence, were acts preparatory to the creation of tyranny, which is what we have now. Now you can be jailed just for reposting a false and misleading information post on X or Facebook, even though you're not responsible for it. It is truly innocent dissemination. But the thing I remember most about that speech by Mr. Tyndall was his warning about the coming great assault on free speech. It was barely even visible at that time in 1990, although we saw the steps being taken, the acts preparatory to the creation of tyranny, absolutely without question. And so here we are, some 34 years after I first met him. I served under him for 5 years, in actual fact. It's a very interesting experience. Certainly the most pivotal moment of my adult life, in actual fact, being a British National Party leader until January 1995, when I left, having lost faith in the direction of the party, but not in nationalism itself. So what I can say is this. With my experience, I'm now old and wise like Mr. Tyndall used to be when I first met him. Although my wisdom basically leads me to believe that we are most definitely on the cusp of a truly horrific leftist tyranny. They've completed their mission to infiltrate all public services. That was always their objective. They've done that now. Everything, public services, the courts, the police, politics, National Health Service, everything, heavily infiltrated by the far left. These people, they are not tolerant, they're not peace-loving, they're not be kind, that utter ridiculous hashtag that they use on social media. They are full of hate. They hate anyone who doesn't embrace their leftist ideological delusion. I don't embrace it. I reject it entirely. I reject socialism completely. It's an absolutely ridiculous pipe dream. It has no place in reality whatsoever. As for equality, I believe in equality of opportunity, but frankly, human beings are not equal. We are all skilled in different ways. And so therefore we can never be equal. Could I be equal to, let's say, a long distance runner who wins the gold medal at the Olympics? No, absolutely not. This is the point that I'm making. Equality of opportunity should exist for everyone, absolutely, without a doubt. I have always supported that. But actual equality, equality established and enforced in law, I guess you could say the ongoing case against Lucy Connolly is a prime example of the scene in the film 1984, where Richard Burton tortures Winston Smith, his victim, and uses that classic phrase, imagine a boot stamping on a human face for eternity. Well, this is where I first learned about that, from Mr. Tyndall, in actual fact. Obviously, I read the book before I met him, many years before that. But this really is the realization of what Mr. Tyndall prophesied. And I could quite imagine, in actual fact, that when he died here on the 19th of July 2005, the left, who were absolutely horrified that the founder of the BNP actually lived in Hove. You know, it's their little woke paradise now, in actual fact. I'm sure they threw a party. They were absolutely delighted, because that is exactly the type of nastiness, malevolence of spirit that we're dealing with. So I'm here for one purpose and one purpose only today. And that is really to recount the warning of what John Tyndall gave us at the Yorker in 1990 in Nottingham. And to say that 34 years later, it most definitely has come to fruition. We are now living in that leftist tyranny, and we need to organize against it in exactly the same way that the left organized to ensure this tyranny would be created. We can only do this together by being organized professionally and by understanding the instruments of tyranny, not so much the law, but the instruments of tyranny which they have hatched in successive decades to subject all of us to. And so therefore I would urge anyone to get a good grasp, particularly of online offences, get a good grasp of the law regarding online offences, because it can mean just about anything they want it to mean. What is incitement? Truly, what is it? It's all a matter of opinion. It's not concrete evidence. It's certainly not facts-based evidence. Did Mary Jane intend to incite Fred Bloggs to go and kick that car by a post on Facebook? Well, if there is a causal link, i.e. she said, look, you know, Fred, go and kick that car, and this is why you should do it, then that is incitement. But if someone has merely reposted false and misleading information, then that is innocent dissemination. It's not a criminal offence of any description. But we are now most definitely living in that tyranny that Mr. Tyndall predicted at the Yorker in summer 1990. And here in the place where he used to live, I've been meaning to come here for a number of years in actual fact, I thought it was apt now, at this moment in time, to make this video at his former residence, because that tyranny has most definitely been born. And Brighton and Hove, where we live, is the HQ of a far left tyranny. Be in no doubt about it. A revolutionary communist party, prime example. Every form of leftist extremist group you can think of is operating in this city with the tacit consent of law enforcement and local government. In fact, they're all part of it, in actual fact. Plastering the city in revolutionary communist party posters, which is a frequent sight, in actual fact, is nothing here. It barely even raises an eyebrow, because this is a bacillus of left-wing extremism.